Do you love great podcasts? Do you love great Australian podcasts? Of course you do. Australians make incredible podcasts. And if you want to stay up to date with the best Australian shows, then check out Oz Podcasts. Look for us on social media and find your new favourite show from the Australian podcast directory on ozpodcast.com.au. That's OZPODCASTS, ozpodcast.com.au. Check it out.
If you like new stuff before anybody else, if you like to keep your finger on the pulse, if you like the future and want to be in it, keep on listening because we'll start in a minute. Techwebcast, the hosts and guests are unsurpassed. Techwebcast, cause technology, it moves so fast. Techwebcast, ha, stick around and you're gonna have a blast. Yeah! Techwebcast, ha, ha. Techwebcast. Let's go!
And welcome to episode 336 of the Techwebcast podcast, recorded on the 6th of June, 2015. Techwebcast is recorded every Saturday at midday Melbourne time. Please rate us on iTunes and like us at facebook.com/techwebcast. Follow us on Twitter at Techwebcast and download the Techwebcast iPhone app. Your hosts today are Brad, myself, Jody, Belinda, Jenn, Jacob, Steve, and guest host Deb visiting from New York and Wendy's. Our special guest today is Brian Margolis, who is co-founder of QuickHound, which can be found at quickhound.com or the quickhoundfoundation.com. And here we go, Brad.
Hey, Jody, how are you?
Super great. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Good to have you back on. You weren't on last week.
I know. I was traveling. I was at a dog show.
Great, good stuff. And the lady who judged your dog was actually from Melbourne.
Yes, she was, and she did, I must say, an awesome job. She has impeccable taste, and Jewel won Best of Breed.
And,
so,
and what was her name?
Esther. Oh gosh, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on her last name, but her first name was Esther.
Esther, hello, Esther. Good to have you. Dog.
She had good taste, very good taste.
Good stuff. All right, how's your week been, Jody? Anything exciting?
Well, like I said, Jewel won Best of Breed a couple of days at the dog show, which was phenomenal. So she now has all the points she needed to be grand champion. Other than that, just a typical week where it's a little bit cold here on the east coast of the States, and we're hoping that it's going to get warm again. That's about it.
Good stuff. All right, let's move to the left. Steve, how's your week been, Steve?
Oh, it's pretty good.
You weren't on last week as well, mate.
Yeah,
Jennifer.
Yeah, my son was graduating from high school, and he's now in California. He's going to be taking some college classes, working down there. So,
good stuff, mate. Are you looking forward to the WWDC event on Monday?
Yeah, actually, I've been so busy with other things, I haven't really, caught up tech-wise. So it looks like here iOS 9, a little bit of HomeKit. Their Beats music service, and maybe an Apple TV.
That may not happen. There was no
well, yeah.
That probably won't happen, but yeah, probably hopefully new music service maybe. You got to see in iOS 9.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff, Steve. And Belinda's back on. Welcome back, Belinda. How's your week been?
Yeah, pretty hectic. I just moved house last Friday, so I've just been trying to get everything connected, like the internet and pay TV. Had a few problems with that, but it's all good now. Yeah, so I've been pretty busy.
Good stuff. And you looking forward to the Apple event on Monday?
Yeah, it should be good.
What are you looking forward to? They may announce, do you reckon?
I'm looking forward to the set-top box they were talking about. That should be good.
Yeah, hopefully they'll announce that, but
yeah.
Anything else, Belinda?
No, nothing else to report. Yeah, just been really busy moving.
Good stuff. Okay. We got Brian on today as a guest. Welcome, Brian.
Thanks for having me.
How's your week been, mate?
Oh, my week's been great. And it's topped off with this. It can't get any better, right?
Exactly.
It's Friday night here in the States, so this is the end tonight.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. Good to have you on.
Thank you.
We've got Jennifer on. Welcome, Jennifer. Welcome back.
Hi, thank you. Sorry I was off last week. I was
okay.
at an event. Yeah.
Jacob held down the fort.
Good job, Jacob.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
how's your week been, Jen?
It's been good. It's been pretty busy. I got the new LG G4 phone.
Cool.
And it's brilliant and gorgeous and just I really like it a lot. So that's been kind of fun to play with that. And then that's about it. Excited about WWDC.
Yep.
Wish I could be on the fly on the wall at the event, So, but I'm looking forward to hopefully. I think we'll see probably a new version of OS 10 and as well as iOS 9. I'm thinking they'll unveil. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what else that they come out with.
Me too. I'll be awake at 3 a.m. on Tuesday on Apple TV.
You poor thing.
Oh, well, that's worth it. I love Apple.
It is worth it.
Jacob, what about you, mate? How's your week been?
Oh, it's been pretty good.
Yep. You had a good trip to the library, I see.
Yes, I did.
Tell us about it. What did you do there?
Nothing. I was just looking for some audiobooks from my dad. Well, my mom was.
Oh, yeah? And they're doing some renovations there, I see.
They're almost done.
What's the name of the library?
It has no name.
What?
It has no name.
No name?
Just Newberry Library.
That's the name of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just said there's no name.
Yeah.
The no-name library.
That's what it's called, Newberry Library.
Newberry Branch.
There you go. It has a name.
Okay.
And thanks for the video, by the way, too.
You're welcome.
And it was funny how you mentioned to that woman that you're doing a video for me from Australia.
Yeah, she was like, okay. She was okay with it.
Was she?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Are you looking forward to the Apple event, Jacob, on Monday, mate?
Yeah. But they took out the part that I was really wanting.
The Apple TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. But anyway, that will come soon. Hopefully, it'll be the new music service and that sort of stuff should be announced.
$10 a month.
$10 a month. I don't know. Is it worth that? Is it worth that?
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. What about you, Jody? Looking forward to the Apple event on Monday?
Of course.
What,
yeah, I love Apple.
What do you expect to see there?
Hopefully something with the iPhone. I didn't get the 6, so I'm curious to see what they're going to introduce next, and whether there'll be any better integration with the phone and the watch. I'm looking forward to the watch coming to the stores.
Yes, that's coming in a couple of weeks. Yep, that should be good.
Yeah, I might be about ready, maybe.
Just do it.
By the time I can actually buy one.
Just go buy one. Just do it.
Just go buy one. Yes, I'm made of money.
They're so worth it. Trust me, they are.
Well, if everybody goes and searches on QuickHound, maybe that'll happen.
So that's happening on Monday with the Apple one. That should be good.
Oh, definitely.
Should be good. Let's go to. Are we gonna do the news first, or we can do the interview with Brian first, Jody?
It's up to Brian.
Brian?
I'm ready to go when you guys are.
All right. So, Jody, do you want to introduce the guest?
Sure, absolutely. It's my pleasure to introduce Brian Margolis. Brian is co-founder of QuickHound, which is a private search engine. And the difference between that and a search engine like Google is that Google does trace every search that you make. QuickHound does not. And another thing that differentiates QuickHound is that they will be making a donation of 20% of their profits to an animal-related charity. So without further ado, Brian, who is a personal friend and also a brilliant entrepreneur, a scientist with a very interesting background. Brian, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do and who you are and a little bit about QuickHound.
Thanks, Jody. Yeah, I in a past life I was a research scientist. I was probably the kid you cheated off of in high school. You know, that was my thing. And about 15 years ago, I went the entrepreneurial route, and I've had a number of businesses, number of projects, and you know, QuickHound actually, interestingly enough, kind of fell into my lap, if you will. A partner and myself, we actually scour the world, the country, the shows, the events for, you know, the next great thing. And we're investors, but we're investors in a different way than most people are. We actually invest with media. So we sit on millions and millions of dollars of, you know, TV time, radio time, you know, internet space, things like that. And, you know, when we find something that, you know, a good product, a good business that is kind of right there, it just needs to actually get the word out. Advertising would be the last piece of the puzzle. You know, that's where we step in and make our investments. And my partner's responsible for, you know, the actual investment of the media, and I'm responsible for kind of protecting our investment, helping the business run and things like that. And so, one of the things I read an article about these private search engines, and that were starting to pop up, and this idea of, you know, the ability to search without every search term that, you know, you put in there being cataloged somewhere and being associated to your IP address, and, you know, putting cookies on you and following you around, and, you know, all these things that, you know, to some people may not bother them. To other people, you know, they're, you know, it's not necessarily what they'd like to have. They just don't see it as another option. They've almost accepted the fact that, hey, everyone knows what I do at this point when I'm online, and things like that. And so we contacted I contacted a number of companies, because the plan was, I really felt that although these private search engines were starting to happen, I felt like it was staying in the tech world. It was staying in the underground. It was staying on podcasts like this, and different magazines, and the general public just had no clue. And so our theory, which we never got to test out at that point, was, what if we take one of these private search engines that's kind of ready to go, and we layer on top of it, you know, a mass media campaign. Let's bring it to the public and let them know that this is an option through everything, through celebrities, TV commercials, whatever we could do. And so we started negotiating with one gentleman who is now, you know, a partner in it. He had a private search engine. He had one of the top ones, and the more we got into the discussions, myself and the developer, the more he started coming around to the fact that he already had a full-time job. He was not looking to build a company. He kind of had his search engine. At that time, he was making money with it. It was as much a side project as anything, and he really wasn't willing to take that next step. He wasn't willing to, you know, take the risk of turning it into a full-fledged business, which I completely understood. And so I got a crazy idea, and I talked to him about, hey, listen, you've already done all the work. You don't want to run a business. You don't want any of the risk. Would you consider licensing me the technology, you know, and I will start the business? And so I changed the name of the site, and that's basically what has happened. So right now, I mean, we are in, I don't know, what comes before beta, because we're about right before beta, right?
Alpha.
In the alphabet, sure. I don't know if in the world of launches there's anything before beta. Is there? I don't know.
Alpha.
Yeah, alpha.
Alpha.
Oh, really? See, I'm learning
Yes.
something new. I told you I'm not a tech person. So anyway, I saw the potential here, and you know, we have this, in my opinion, we have this product, this service, the ability to get literally the same exact results that you would get from a major search engine, but you don't have to worry about them having your IP address. You don't have to worry about them placing cookies. You don't have to worry about, there's no cataloging of your search terms. We couldn't pull them up if we wanted to. And so we weren't trying to reinvent search like some of the other private search engines. We basically were saying the general public, we believe, just wants the same search experience they're already having. They're already used to a similar interface, just with the option of, you know, not having everything you write down being tracked. And so we're at that stage where we've developed it now. The actual programming is all done. The development is all done. Everything seems to be working. And now we're going to get the word out. We're going to start on, with just a desktop version. And we're going to test that out and let people go to work on it and make sure there's no kinks or nothing going on in the back end as we scale this up. And eventually, then we'll move to the mobile platform pretty quickly. And then we'll be ready for a full-on launch. And, once we know our model's working and the site's, working well and the revenue is coming in and it's more than what's going out, that's when we will add in the advertising. We're going to be doing a full-on, full-scale campaign, investing a lot of money, a lot of media time into trying to bring something like this to the mainstream. We're not looking to, we want to get it out of the tech underworld, so to speak. And we think the mainstream would enjoy something like this too. We just don't think they know it's out there. And so we're pretty excited. We're pretty excited about, where we're at, and we're right at that point. We're basically just launching, as you know, Jody. Jody's helping us out. And we're getting to that point where we're ready to go.
Those are my favorites. And it's cool. I don't know if anybody has any questions for Brian.
No questions for me. Jacob, any questions for Brian?
No.
Yeah, it looks great, Brian. I've just used it before, mate. It looks fantastic, and I can't wait till it comes out. And
I got a question.
That's what I'm thinking. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, what kind of, I don't know if you can mention what kind of back end, because how do you do the magic that nobody can see you and all that, no tracking? So can you tell us some more into that?
Tell you, sure, I can tell you at a surface level. I'm not the programmer. I don't. He's coded this himself with multiple versions. But basically, what we do is, the way it works is, when someone comes to the site, we set you almost always wind up setting a cookie when someone comes to a site on a search engine. But what we do is, we don't set what's called a unique cookie. We set a common cookie. So basically, everyone has the exact same cookie. So we have no way of knowing, associating an IP address to a search to anything like that. None of the search terms are logged. And all of basically anything that comes through on the other end, the advertising, anything like that, nothing delivers an IP address. There's a mask on everything. And so at the surface level, as far as the consumer is concerned, as far as the customer goes, literally the only way they're going to be anything tracked or any kind of identifying features if they click through us and onto another website. Obviously, once they're on another website, we can't control it. If you're asking me about programming languages and things like that, he has told me it's JavaScript, PHP. He's named a whole bunch of them that, again, nothing that I'm familiar with. And again, I'd be more than happy to get him on maybe a future podcast or something. But he had this going already. He was already involved with all the tech magazines and the tech people reviewing it and things like that with his website. Now we're just transferring, basically commercializing it, if you will, trying to bring it mainstream.
I just thought of another question.
Sure.
Maybe in the future you have NSA contact you. No, I'm just kidding.
Here's the good news. We would have nothing to give them.
Yeah.
See, that's the difference. They can have it. We have nothing to give them. And we've gotten the comments about, well, then won't people use your site to do bad things? And the reality is, there's already private search engines out there. That's number one.
Yeah.
And number two, the people who really don't want to be tracked, they're using what are called proxies, as you guys probably know better than me.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot of stuff through proxies anyway. There's a lot better ways to really be hidden than ours. Ours is kind of more for the general public that, just wants the same experience. They just don't want to be tracked.
Okay.
Good question, Steve. Belinda, any questions for Brian?
Yeah, I was just going to ask how QuickHound was started, like the idea behind it.
So, well, from my end, it was as simple as me reading an article about private search engines, because there are other ones out there. There's about 4 significant ones that are out there. DuckDuckGo, StartPage.com. There's a few others. I read about them, and then I went to those sites, and I basically realized, number one, they were redoing the whole search interface. In other words, they're trying, like a DuckDuckGo of the worlds, they have a different model where they're trying to, I guess, they're trying to beat out Google. They think they're going to they're spending millions and millions of dollars trying to redefine the whole customer search experience. Whereas we're kind of saying people are already pretty comfortable with what's out there, so we're not going to change it. But the reason it started was because I just felt that these private things, if we brought them mainstream, I was just, we're taking a risk here that due to the NSA stuff and people starting to become, a little more aware of the Google thing and all that kind of stuff, that, I think the general public would like a private search engine. The idea of a private search engine isn't brand new. I think we're just creating one for the general public. It's not a different kind of experience. As far as when the private search engine started, that's, they've been trying those since the days of the internet. The proxy search engines and the different, this one's sort of private and semi-private and things like that. But yeah, the idea came to me was, grab the private search engine concept, keep it simple, keep it the interface, and you'll notice on the Quick Count interface, it's a very familiar interface. It's just real simple, it's real clean, and I think that's what people are used to.
Yeah, definitely. Very nice.
Yeah, and which companies are interested in the site?
In terms of?
Just like sponsorship and that sort of thing. Has anyone shown any interest?
Yes. We've talked with one of the big boys about pay-per-click ads. And the problem with pay-per-click ads, and some of the so-called private sites use pay-per-click ads, because officially they can still say, we don't collect your IP address, but we know for a fact, having dealt with some of these large pay-per-click companies, and everyone knows who they are, the Microsofts and the Googles of the world, that even though QuickHound wouldn't be collecting your IP address, they would when those ads were served. And so it was kind of misleading. So we're talking to them about creating a pay-per-click, they can easily mask the last 3 letters of the IP address. At this point, they're choosing not to, but we have talked to people at some very high levels where they basically said, once you get traffic to a certain point, we will participate, as long as you use our feeds, we will participate and we will mask those IP addresses. So as far as advertising goes, we have to host our own advertising. In other words, so we don't compromise the what's the word I'm looking for? Compromise the privacy. We are looking currently. We have a couple of deals. We are looking at a big restaurant company that's going to do stuff that we can still geolocate without giving the full IP address. And then we also have, as Jody said, we're heavy on the animal side, and so we have a feeling, based on just the contributions of the QuickHound Foundation and things like that, that we're going to have especially at the beginning, a big skew toward animal people. And so we're, the kind of ads we're going to be serving up are going to be animal type ads, as long as they work out. But yeah, it's kind of a tricky thing getting advertising on a private site, because a lot of advertisers want to know exactly where people are coming from and things like that. But we're close. We just got to get the numbers up, and once we get the numbers up, we're going to have the pay-per-click on there, and that will help us on the revenue side.
Good stuff, Brian. What is QuickHound? What is that? What is that? Tell us about what QuickHound is.
QuickHound was born. The original site that we had started with, there was nothing wrong with the name, but it was difficult to spell. And if I said, here's the site, and you went to type it in, there's about 30 different ways you probably could have spelled it. So we wanted something simple.
Yep.
And so something that you could say real quick, and without having to write it down, people would remember quickhound.com. And the concept of a hound being, a dog that searches.
Yep.
Was basically it.
Very cool.
And, we just wanted it to be easy. Something easy, something simple.
Yeah, I love it.
Something dog related.
Yeah, and I love dogs. We all love dogs on this podcast, and it's a great name.
Yeah, I got some interesting feedback from that, but I stuck with it.
Stuff, mate. Good stuff. I love it. Let's go to Debbie. Any questions, Debbie, for Brian?
That's you, Debbie. You caught her with her mouth full.
Sorry.
She's eating a cookie. Go ahead, ask a question. She's actually fascinated.
She is.
How are you going to determine which charities you donate to, Brian?
We are going to let the community decide. So our first goal is to raise $1 million. And after we raise that first $1 million, we are going to put it out at that point, I can imagine we're going to have a pretty significant, Facebook community and things like that. Not necessarily because they're excited about private search engines, but they're more excited about the idea of the QuickHound Foundation. And we're going to use that community to help us determine, where we should actually contribute. Our whole thing with this is, people who are into animals like myself and Jody and dogs and things like that, we tend to be nickel dimers where people get us to contribute to this or pay $20 a month to be a part of that. And to be honest, I can't see if we're going to make a huge difference in the kind of things we want to make a difference in, the concept of streaming money and taking money off of the whole search engine concept. I think that gives us the ability to raise the kind of capital that very few charities can. I mean, as you guys know, in the search engine game, people are like, well, how much of Google do you want? 10%? I said 10%. How about 0.00000 1%, and believe me, we're gonna have some dogs wagging their tails and everyone's gonna be very happy. So we just see it as, instead of saying, oh, I got to write a check for $10 or $20, just do something you're doing every day. Make it your homepage, do something you're doing every day. And I think with that kind of participation, we can raise a lot of money in a relatively, short amount of time.
So, there are sites and programs out there that let charities register with them, and then people go, like Amazon has the Smile.
Yep.
Where you go and you say, I'm buying, and whatever you're going to donate goes to this charity. Would you ever consider going to that format?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of using the theory that people have a very short attention span, and every time you put an extra step into something, the chances of people completing it or doing it are lowered. And so if we can just get people to use that as their kind of home base, like they do Google without even thinking about it, or they do Bing, that to us is a more effective way than asking them to, do an extra step, an extra two-step. And to be honest, I mean, we're hoping that someone likes with our concept, they only have to like QuickHound once. They set it as their homepage, they like it, they only care about it that one time someone tells them about it, and then they probably, as far as they're concerned at this point, they're just going along their business for the next 5 or 10 years, and hopefully QuickHound never comes off their homepage. And they're just constantly searching, and then that's kind of what we're hoping for. Don't give them too many steps. The more steps, the more problems.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. So, Brian, how is Jody part of all this?
So Jody, my genius in residence here, she's going to be helping on the social media end of things.
Okay, cool.
We have a very simple plan in that we're starting with the animal angle, not necessarily the privacy angle. So we're kind of coming across that, this is a great thing for animals. And, oh, yeah, by the way, it's also private. And we're going to start out that way. And for a very simple reason, something helping the animals can be viral. In other words, if I'm doing something that helps animals and I'm talking to someone else who's into dogs or cats or horses or whatever, that's the kind of thing you share. If I'm doing a private search engine, it's not something I share with my friends at parties. Like, hey guys, this is awesome. I don't want anyone seeing what I'm typing. You should do the same thing. We just don't see it as viral as quickly as the animal side. So our basic goal is using social media and some PR and some other things, is we need to get the counts up high enough, the participation, the search is high enough that we can show some of these larger companies that it's worth changing the pay-per-click ads for us. Once they do that and we have the pay-per-click option on there where they mask the IP address, then we can go full bore with the advertising, because then the return on investment will be positive. And so Jody is going to be helping with the social media aspect of it.
Just getting the word out.
Sounds good.
Yep.
I'm sure Jody will do a great job.
Oh, no doubt.
She always does.
That's why I'm staying up past my bedtime tonight. She convinced me of it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Jennifer, any questions for Brian?
Yeah, I really like the idea of what you've done, and I'm wondering, you mentioned something about, right now you're in alpha, then of course you'll launch to beta, and then do a regular full launch, and then after that you'll be rolling out to mobile. Is that right? Is that what you said?
Yes.
For Android and iOS?
We'll be mobile probably before the launch, probably after beta.
Oh, great. Okay.
We'll be. In other words, I'm not gonna. I come from more of the, in this case, more of the business, investing, advertising side of things, and for us to spend those kind of resources and use up that kind of media, we have to be full bore.
Gotcha.
We're talking actually to one celebrity right now about possibly being involved, one A-list celebrity, and we can't roll out commercials with that person, and people will go and it's not working on the phone. So we kind of have to show the model as cash flow positive, which won't take long, because the last site, the site that we licensed the software from, they were already cash flow positive. They already kind of proved to me that it worked. And now he's on our team, the developer's on our team. So we know we can get it cash flow positive pretty quickly. Then we'll roll out, we'll go mobile and everything like that, make sure there's no major issues. And once we do that, then it's a matter of just scaling, and that's when the ads will come out. You'll see more mainstream advertising. So yeah, we have to be mobile these days. I mean, there's no there's no way around.
There's no way around that. No.
Even I have a smartphone now, and I'll know when my dad doesn't have to flip his phone. I'll know that it's time. That officially everyone, My dad doesn't think of it as flipping his phone. He's like, I can double the size of my phone with the flick of my thumb. But when my dad finally gets to the smartphone, then you know everything's happening.
There's no turning back. Exactly.
There's no my mom texts now, so this is
it's time.
You guys know this. You guys know this, but mobile's where we're at.
Yeah, exactly.
It is.
Yeah, definitely. What's your view on the Apple Watch, Brian? What do you know about the Apple Watch?
Here's what I'm trying to figure out about the Apple Watch. I feel like we use our phones now as our clocks.
Yep.
So is the concept here basically now we're going to move away from the phone? In other words, we're basically going to have the watch will act like your phone, basically, correct?
Sort of, yeah. It'll just give you notification, that sort of thing. And I still use my phone every day, and I've got one, and mine works fantastic, and does phone calls, that sort of stuff, and yeah.
So when someone calls you, texts you, whatever, it basically both of them light up.
Yeah, it just goes onto my watch. If I'm not near my phone, it'll just go onto my watch, and then I can reply from the watch.
5 years ago, I would have said that'll never work. That's too much intrusion. But in that world, I've been proven wrong. So I'm sure it'll be a huge hit.
Yeah, definitely.
I would have said people don't want their wrist lighting up every 3 seconds and being interrupted, but I'm going to change my mind on that these days. I think people are perfectly happy to be interrupted.
Do you feel like James Bond when you're talking on it, Brad?
No, not really. Not really.
Dick Tracy.
Really. But it does come in handy,
that's
though. It does come in handy if you want to take a phone call, and it's really fun to use.
Or you could say David Hasselhoff when he's talking to Kit.
Okay. So anything else, Brian, you want to mention before we wrap up, mate? Where can they get hold of you if they want to ask any more questions, mate?
No, I think if they're interested in using the search engine, quickhound.com is obviously where they should do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Since I have an audience here, if anybody has a product or business and they think it's ready to go and they could use an investment of media, they can go over to our site. It's kxfunding.com.
Okay.
K as in kangaroo, X as in xylophone. Funding.com, and that's where we look at different, and we do everything. We do tech products. We do, we do anything. If that last piece of the puzzle is a lot of media, then that's how we can help.
Good stuff. Yeah, I just did a search for Foxtel, but nothing came up in the search engine.
You for what? I'm sorry.
Foxtel. That's a pay TV company here in Australia. I just did a search for that, but nothing came up in the text part of it.
Oh, on QuickHound.
Yeah. So maybe they should sign up to it. Maybe.
see here. What is it called? Fox?
Yeah, Foxtel.
EL.
EL, yeah, Foxtel. And talking of Foxtel, Belinda, how is your Foxtel since you moved into your new place?
Yeah, it's quite good. It's pretty much the same as my old place. But speaking about the internet, it's funny that I tried Periscope on my mobile phone using Wi-Fi here,
right,
and it worked.
Really?
I can get Periscope here, so
interesting.
But I prefer Meerkat though. So
I prefer Meerkat as well. And talking about Meerkat, Jacob, what's her name? Victoria. What's her surname? I can't pronounce her surname. Victoria who? Victoria Ratz?
I not know right now, Brad.
Okay, well, you should be on the ball, mate. Well, anyway, she's going to be on the podcast in a couple of weeks, Belinda. Do you know her?
With ISIS.
What's her name?
Victoria, her name is.
No, I don't know of her.
Okay, she's going to be on the podcast in a couple of weeks.
What does she do?
She does social media, that sort of stuff, and does things, that sort of thing.
Yeah, cool.
And also next week, we have Georgia Doe on next week. She's on ifromimore.com. She'll be coming back from the...
Oh, that's awesome. I like her.
You know her, Jennifer?
I know of her.
Okay.
I don't know her personally.
Yeah.
No.
She's going to be on the show next week, so that's going to be good. And she's going to WWDC. I think she's going. I'm not sure if she's not. I can't remember if she said if she's going or not. But, so she'll be on next week, so that should be good.
That sounds like a great show.
Yeah, can't wait. Okay, Brian, so are you on Twitter, mate?
I am not. That's going to be Jody's.
Okay, Jody.
That'll be Jody's reign.
Okay, Jody, you need to set up his Twitter.
We're still setting up the social media accounts, but you can connect with us on Facebook.
Okay.
At facebook.com/quickhound.
Are you eating?
No, that's Debbie.
Oh.
I could hear the wrapper when I was talking.
Debbie, I keep muting it, and then she keeps eating more. I don't know what to do.
Is she eating Wendy's?
So, Debbie, what's your view on the Apple event on Monday?
Well, Jody's looking forward to what comes after the 6th. I bought a 6th, so I'm hoping they don't have something coming after.
No, they won't. They'll probably bring out another new iPhone in the next few months, but the iPhone 6 is a good enough phone to keep for another year. I probably won't upgrade for a while. I'm happy with what I have now.
That's what you said with the 5S.
Yeah, I know, but Optus always gives me good deals, and I can't say no. But we'll see what happens. But anyway, have you seen the Apple Watch, Debbie?
I have not.
Okay. Jade, have you told us?
One, but I've not seen her, so.
Okay. Jacob, any question for Debbie?
Not really, but you do.
All right. I do?
Yes,
all right, let's go to the news, and then we'll come back and have a chat with Debbie. Brian, thanks for being on, mate.
I appreciate you guys having me on.
And check out quickhound.com.
Absolutely.
New search engine on there to check out and that sort of thing. So that's pretty cool. You want to hang around for the news, Brian?
Absolutely. I want to know what's going on in that world.
All right, here we go. About to find out. Here we go.
This is the Techwebcast news. And Apple has started putting up logos, signs and banners across Moscone West in San Francisco ahead of the Worldwide Developers Conference on Monday. And the initial banner has used the same graphics as the company's WWDC 2015 website, and it has the tagline, the epicenter of change. And the next interior banners to go up will feature hints about OS X 10.11 and iOS 9. And the two operating systems will be unveiled at WWDC. With OS X 10.10, it saw banners depicting Yosemite on Friday before the event. And Apple's trademarked the names of several California landmarks and locations, including Redwood, Big Sur, Pacific, Diablo, Miramar, El Cap, Monterey, and Sierra. And also expected to see is the iOS 9 banners as well. So along with the details of those ones, there is the Apple's new streaming music service and revamped version of iTunes Radio. And the Apple Watch will be a major focus of the event as well, along with Apple Pay, which is an exciting new pay device for Apple. And also there is a TV set-top box with subscription television. So it should be an interesting event. Over to you, Jen.
Thanks, Belinda. Well, coming from Engadget.com is a story about ESPN's X Games, and they're going to start using GoPro footage during their live broadcasts. Now, ESPN has never been afraid to experiment with new technologies. Earlier this year, they actually used drones to capture footage of athletes as they performed during the Winter X Games in Aspen, Colorado. And that recorded content, however, was limited to being used for replays or post-show highlights. But over the past few months, ESPN has been working with GoPro to bring a new real-time camera angle to its broadcast of this year's Summer X Games, scheduled to take place in Austin, Texas, from June 4th through June 7th. So June 4th was actually yesterday. So, so it just started. So for the first time ever, ESPN will be using video from GoPros in live broadcasts of the event, giving viewers at home a first-person look at the action while it happens. They began testing this system called HeroCast at the Aspen X Games back in January, but felt that it was now time to integrate it with its telecast. And over to you, Belinda.
Thanks, Jen. Podcasts have been more popular than ever thanks to cultural sensations like Serial. And now Apple's own podcasts app got off to a rough start as well and isn't the best choice. For years now, outside developers have been filling the gap and producing stellar podcast apps with a ton of useful features. But which one is the best one to pick? At a bare minimum, these apps should help you find new podcasts that match your tastes and remove all the hassle from subscribing, downloading new episodes, and making playlists for your commute wherever you are going. There are dozens of podcast apps to choose on iOS, and whittling down to the list can be difficult. But when it comes down to it, there's only one best pick. The winner is Overcast. If you've got an iPhone, the best podcast app is Overcast. It's a clean, straightforward, and tasteful design that is easy to use and never gets in the way of what's most important to the listening experience. And even better, it has some really nice features which substantially improve the experience. Smart Speed gets rid of silent moments and dead air whenever they exist in your podcasts. So that sounds pretty good if you're doing podcasts. Over to you, Jen.
Thank you, Belinda. And next in the news, coming from neowin.net, is all about Microsoft, and they're showing off a revolutionary note-taking tablet from Hewlett-Packard. As Microsoft is preparing to launch Windows 10 next month, it has some interesting products lined up in partnership with various manufacturers featuring the OS. Some of these devices were showcased by the company at Computex 2015. HP revealed its intentions to launch a duo of revolutionary tablets powered by Windows 10, and Microsoft's VP for the OEM division, Nick Parker, gave a quick demo of these tablets, of one of the tablets that focuses mainly on note-taking. In the video that they shared, which was uploaded by Computex, the tablet can be seen at the 9:38 mark of the video, and it is worth viewing, evidently. So take a look at this article on neowin.net to take a look at this. And it is a 9-inch tablet that is said to come with a keyboard as well as a stylus and a special arrangement to carry while taking notes. According to Windows Central, Microsoft was quick to take the device off the stage once the demo concluded. During the same keynote, Microsoft also unveiled a new Dell XPS 15 with Infinity Display, which was reported earlier. We can expect to see more Windows-based product announcements from Computex over the next coming days. And over to you, Jody. I'm sorry, Belinda. It's just a habit to say Jody. I'm sorry.
That's all right. It's a very nice name, but yeah, thank you. It seems Windows 10 could be the first Microsoft OS where the company actually lets you download the install ISO without having to jump through hoops. With that ISO, you could either burn a CD or go the new school route of creating a bootable flash drive installer, which could be a lot easier than you think. Admittedly, it's still kind of a pain to have to upgrade at least once to make the Windows 10 license click, but it's a lot better than nothing. And over to you, Jen.
Thanks, Belinda. Coming from cultofmac.com, Apple TV will be the new digital hub for HomeKit. Hidden in HomeKit documentation published earlier is the intriguing confirmation that Apple TV will serve as the digital hub for Apple's new home automation setup. It's a reminder of just how seriously Apple treats the set-top box that it dismissed as a hobby a few years ago. The latest hint at Apple TV's increasing prominence is buried in the details about how users can start using HomeKit compatibility third-party devices from the moment they arrive. If you have an Apple TV 3rd generation or later with software version 7.0 or later, you can control your HomeKit-enabled accessories when you're away from home using your iOS device. Sign in with the same Apple ID on your iOS device and Apple TV, and you'll be able to use Siri commands to remotely control your accessories. The idea that your Apple TV will become the digital hub for your automated home is further evidence that, after years of neglect, Apple is finally ready to pull the trigger on making its TV offering the revolutionary product Steve Jobs dreamed that it would be. And over to you, Belinda.
And yes, that's all for the Tech Webcast news. Over to you, Brad.
Good news, Jody, Jennifer, and Belinda. What am I saying Jody for? Jennifer and Belinda, great news, bringing the news stories.
See, I did it too. I kept saying Jody too. I'm sorry, Belinda.
I'm so used to saying Jody because
Jody does news all the time.
It's just Jody's been doing, yeah.
Jody,
you've been doing it before Belinda and I both. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go to Steve. Steve, got any opinions on them stories, mate?
Actually, the HomeKit with the Apple TV is kind of interesting. It makes sense for them to use that as their hub. So if you have more than one device in your home that hopefully can use the HomeKit, then since a lot of homes, or they can just buy the Apple TV and then use that to control your house, and then use it all through a wireless connection. Even though we haven't heard maybe a new Apple TV come out as well, I'm kind of interested if supposedly they're going to be coming out with an app store that which should also be monumental for gaming and things on the Apple TV.
So, Steve, can you see though the apps being on the Apple TV? I can't see that.
I'm not saying that they're. I don't know. I haven't kept up with it, but I've heard something about. Of course, these are rumors that if they have an app store, I don't know. I think it would be make sense to have an app store on the Apple TV.
Maybe.
But
yeah, it should be interesting to see if that happens. And I've been using my Apple Watch to control the Apple TV, and it works really good.
And I could see even people buying apps just for the Apple TV to play even its own little gaming console. I think would take off. Yeah, if you had the right controller, obviously. But
yeah, good point. Yeah, you can actually buy controllers for the Apple TV as well.
There you go.
Let's go to Jacob. Jacob, what's your view on them stories, mate?
Well, I like the one that's for Windows 10.
Well, of course you do, because you're a Windows fan Nazi person.
Nazi.
I'm a Nazi, you're behind.
Nazi. You like...
Well, I'm just saying, you love Windows.
Hail Windows. No, just kidding.
Of course. I've used it ever since DOS 1.
But you haven't tried Apple's. You haven't tried the Apple version of Windows.
Yes, I have.
When was that?
When I was at the high school fixing computers.
How long ago was that?
About 10 years ago.
Oh, well, then to get it, then no, that's changed, mate. That's 10 years ago. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was OS X3.
Because you and Belinda were having a debate about this yesterday. It was quite funny. I actually seen in the chat. And
yeah, that debate between whether Mac or PC is better will go on forever. Probably.
Oh, will definitely.
Oh yeah,
it'll never be resolved.
No, it won't.
But yeah, Jacob, you should try a new one today. I mean, I know it's
totally
easier said than done
yeah.
since you don't have a Mac, but
Apple
it's
Store.
really a wonderful operating system.
I use PCs like since the 90s, since 92, and then I changed last year to Mac, so
Yeah, definitely.
it's doable.
What made you go to the Mac, Belinda?
Just too many problems with Windows and having to upgrade it all the time, and just not very reliable system.
Yeah, same.
How do you like it, Belinda?
Yeah, it's much more reliable. I haven't had any problems with it or anything, so it's pretty good. And with Apple, once you turn it on, that's it. It turns on. It doesn't.
Yeah.
With Windows,
Exactly.
you've got to go through the whole rigmarole of everything loading and takes
All
forever.
the bloatware on there they usually put.
Yeah.
Well, that's the manufacturer, but.
Have you found, Belinda, using the Mac that you have any crashes with any apps you load or any frozen?
No.
No? Okay, good stuff.
Yeah, so it's all good.
Good stuff. Okay, Jacob, so there you go, mate. Maybe it's time for you to move over to the Mac side.
Hell no, Brad. I will not go.
Go to the dark side.
It's interesting that some people are so... Well, I know that gaming is supposed to be better on a Windows machine as opposed to a Mac, if you're really into gaming.
Yeah, a lot of my games will not work because that's one reason I don't go to Mac.
Right.
Okay. Fair enough, mate.
Fair enough,
yes.
And half of my Windows programs are only built for PC. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, any other views, Jacob, on them stories, mate?
The ESPN, the X Games to use GoPros with live. I would love to see that.
Yeah, same. Should be good.
Taking a live snapshots.
Yeah.
I bet they have footage on their website now, probably, since the X Games are already underway, you know?
When does it start, Jody?
It started yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw it on Foxtel.
Look at
They're
it.
broadcasting it on ESPN. So.
Yeah. I'll have to look at it. I haven't seen it yet. Okay, let's go to Brian. What about you, Brian? Any new views in them stories, mate?
I have a quick question. When they talk about Apple TV, do they actually mean a TV or do they just mean something that goes on top of your TV?
It's a small set-top box, like a black square box.
Okay, because a few years ago they were actually talking about Apple coming out with a TV, weren't they?
Yeah, they were, but that didn't happen.
Well, I guess I'm the business guy on here, but that will go against everything Apple does because, you replace your phone now every year and a half. You replace this. TVs stay in houses for 9, 10, 12 years. It goes, It wouldn't make sense for them to have an actual TV. They wouldn't get the turnover. Constantly buying the next one.
True. Yeah, I did hear something about Tim Cook saying they weren't really interested in TV. I don't know. I can't along them lines, but I don't know.
Goes against everything they do. Is get you all excited about the next version. The next version. People don't switch TVs on their wall like they do their phones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think for Apple, it's the content, not the television. It's the content that they're interested in. Yeah.
Yeah, content. Yeah. Yeah, there's so much content on the Apple TV now. There's so many apps, even in Australia. There's Netflix, Stan, and YouTube, and them sort of things. It should be, and Apple TV should be happy about that. Are you happy, Belinda, about your Apple TV?
Yeah, it works fine. It's got good apps and everything, and you can, if you're watching a YouTube video on your computer or something, you can just easily put it onto the big screen, and you don't have to watch it on your small computer screen.
Exactly. Did you close your Netflix account?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've got Foxtel, so...
Oh, I started up mine. That's funny. Okay.
Really? You did?
Yeah. Is that ironic? I'm just kidding.
It's still running for another 3 weeks or something because I'd already paid up.
Yeah, right.
Time, so.
Yeah, I've still got a few more months to go, but I don't think I'll see what happens, but the content on there is just hopeless. There's nothing on there to watch.
Yeah, I mean, for you guys...
Australia. I didn't think that.
For you guys in Australia, it's completely different for us here in the States, so... Yeah, I don't blame you. I do like on the Apple TV, I have been really enjoying HBO Now.
Okay.
And, and that's coming to Android here shortly as well. It's opening up here soon. But I've been enjoying that a lot on the Apple TV. Yeah.
Okay.
And new Showtime's coming out, right?
Yeah,
right? Next month. Yeah. In June, a couple weeks, I think. Yeah.
Is it June or July?
June. Yeah, just a few weeks.
Oh, no. Yeah. Okay. So you'd be happy then, Jennifer, about that?
I don't know if I don't watch any Showtime content right now, so I don't know if I'll get it or not. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Jennifer, have you got any views on them stories, Jennifer?
I think it's great that Microsoft has confirmed Windows 10 upgrades for free. I think that's good. That's smart. And I am kind of excited to see what Apple's going to be coming out with when it comes to home automation. You know, when they're talking about using HomeKit as part of your Apple TV, I'm curious to see what home automation plans they have underway. So I'm pretty excited about that too.
Cool, good.
And then ESPN's X Games, I think it's cool that they're using the GoPro. It's a perfect fit. So congratulations to GoPro for that win. Just some good news stories. A lot of good things to look forward to.
Good stuff. Jennifer, are you going to be watching it on your Apple TV?
I will be watching it, yes.
Yeah, same. I'm going to watch it on my Apple TV. What about you, Belinda? Are you going to be awake at 3 a.m.?
Probably not.
Okay.
I'll probably watch a replay of it or something.
Yeah, they have it on the website and stuff.
Yeah, but talking about that event, the Apple Music streaming service sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
going up against
Spotify.
Spotify, yeah, that's the word. Yeah, and also the ESPN X Games GoPro footage. I'm really excited about that. That's pretty good because I watch I've started watching some GoPro videos on YouTube and they're pretty good. There's one where there's motorcyclists who ride around Melbourne and they film themselves riding their bikes and talking as well. So it's
nice.
Pretty interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'd probably be similar with the X Games because they're probably doing stunts and stuff like that.
Yeah, especially with the motorbikes and that sort of stuff, and that should be good to see.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Jody and Debbie. Have you girls got any views on them stories?
Actually, I'm going to defer to Deb because she had some thoughts, and then I'll fill in after.
Right.
I'm real interested in the HomeKit and being able to work it with Siri to automate your home using Siri. And my only comment on that is I've had some very frustrating directional questions with Siri where she does not understand. So I think they need to hone the translation part of Siri up before they start using it to turn things on and off in your home.
It could be interesting.
Yeah, it could be interesting.
It'd be very interesting. Have you got an Apple TV, Debbie?
No, I do not.
Oh, you should get one. You should get one. And do you have an iPad?
Yes, I do.
Good stuff. What computer do you have? A Mac computer?
I have a Mac at home. I have an iPad and an iPhone, and I sync them all. But at work, we're all a PC.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. All right. What about you?
Look, I'm also excited about Windows 10 being free. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. It is very good. Free is good. Always good.
Yeah, and Brad, with regard to that, I think I had mentioned previously on one of the episodes about that. I really think that it's a ploy by Microsoft because once people upgrade to Windows 10, they will be able to review whether their initial purchase of Windows was valid or not. So I think it's a way for them to catch people who perhaps are using bootleg copies of Windows. So
yep, exactly.
That's my
theory.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
thanks for the warning, Jody.
You're welcome, Brian. So yeah, and the other thing is the GoPro thing. I love GoPro, and I think that's going to add a lot of excitement to ESPN.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll be checking that out very soon on Foxtel. Any other views, Jody?
Yeah, Netflix is super. I'm sorry that it's not panning out for you guys in Australia, but Orange is the New Black is going to be coming out, I think, on the 23rd. The new series, the new season.
With Ruby Rose.
Yeah, she's an Australian, isn't she?
Ah, cool.
Yeah, she is Australian.
Yeah.
Very neat.
And she's got very cool tattoos.
She's got cool what?
Tattoos.
Tattoos?
Tattoos.
Like tattoos.
Tattoos.
Is she going to use her Australian accent in it, or is she going to have American?
I think so. I think she is. Yeah, she's going to use her Australian accent. Yeah.
Oh.
Wow, cool.
That's the only reason why I'm watching it because she's in it. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I love Netflix. I love binge watching. So.
What have you been watching, Jody, on Netflix?
Oh, I've been watching Criminal Minds. I've gone back to the very beginning, and I'm just binge watching through the seasons. And seems like as much as I watch, there's that many more to watch. So, but I have, a few shows that I got to go back and catch up on.
All right.
Not the least of which is Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, yes.
Yeah. Everybody told me that last week was superlative, but I can't even think about it because I have to catch up. So
me too. I'm about 3 episodes behind, or 4, something like that. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we catch up.
We need to, yeah.
Maybe you two can watch it together.
That would be fun.
On my next trip south.
All right. So Jody, we've got Debbie on today. Debbie works at Wendy's.
Yes.
What does Debbie do?
I work for a Wendy's franchisee. I run the IT department for the largest Wendy's franchisee. We also have some Moe's restaurants.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow. How great.
And
Debbie that's a challenge.
Debbie also has champion and grand champion Belgian Malinois, and she does a heck of a lot more with them with tracking and agility. And I mean, she just got back from a week of a tracking camp, and very accomplished dog trainer in addition to being an IT guru.
I'm a geek.
Okay, she's a geek.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you. Are you a geek? And she said yes.
Yes, I am a geek.
Yes, that's good to hear. Good to hear. Jacob, any questions?
I'm a geek.
Any questions for Debbie, Jacob?
How long have you been working for that department?
24 years.
Good gravy.
That's a long time.
Yes, good gravy's right.
That's a lot of burgers.
Does Wendy's give you any free food, Debbie?
Good question.
Actually, the one that's located in the town where our administrative office is, we get at lunchtime we get half price.
So what sort of food do you have there? What sort of food can you get there?
I don't eat there.
Wait, no.
Well, I do sometimes. They have very good salads, which that's usually what I have if I go. They have very good chicken sandwiches.
Okay.
They have square burgers because Dave Thomas did not believe in cutting corners. And they have really good chili.
Nice. Do they have donuts?
Is that the motto behind why? Really? Is that what they said? Because he didn't want to cut corners?
That is why we have square hamburgers, because he didn't want to cut corners.
I like that story. That's neat.
Yeah, it's very neat.
When Dave started out, there were only, he had his core products. He had the cheeseburgers, or hamburgers and cheeseburgers, French fries, and the Frosties, and that's all he sold.
Oh, I remember the Frost. I haven't had a Frosty in years. Yeah. Many years. But they were tasty. I'm sure they still are.
Frosty, yeah. Belinda, any questions?
Yeah, I was just going to ask what sort of computer system does Wendy's use? Do they use Windows or different sort of?
Our organization is all Windows, yes.
Okay, right.
All right.
So do you have any problems with the systems, or is it all pretty good?
The only problem is viruses and Trojans and irresponsible users.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got a attachment from this person who I don't know, but I have to see what this attachment was. And then the next thing you know, their computer doesn't work. But we have been able to filter a lot of that and have it mostly under control, but we still have that issue.
All right. Jennifer, any questions?
Oh, gosh. I cannot think of any right now. I just think it's pretty cool that you're with the #1 franchisee for Wendy's and Moe's. You know, that's got to be pretty big. I'm sure you handle a lot of different issues coming through, because I would imagine you have a plethora of stores. So pretty impressive.
We have a lot of stores and we have 3 different offices, which we maintain VPNs to the offices as well as to the restaurants. So it's quite complex.
So just a question for me and Belinda. The Wendy's here in Australia and the one in America, do you know the difference between them two, Debbie?
I am not familiar at all with the Wendy's in Australia. I do know that the Wendy's do tailor their menus to the country they're in.
Yeah.
The ones in Canada, I know, do serve poutine, which is a French fry creation from Canada. I really am not familiar with the ones in Australia.
All right, okay, good stuff. Let's
tell me about them.
Well, Wendy's in Australia, they just do ice cream and hot dogs and donuts.
Yeah.
I think. Hot dogs?
Hot dogs, yes, hot dogs.
They probably think that's American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll look into it and let you know.
Next time I will go to Wendy's, I'm going to have a look and see what they have there.
They've got the shaken dog deal or something where you get a milkshake and a hot dog.
Actually, somebody put that in the chat room. It may actually be a different company, maybe. It's not the
it's
Wendy's.
The same name, but different, because it's pink or something.
Yeah, it's pink. Yeah, it's pink.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that because it sounds like it would be a different company. I can't imagine the franchise changing so much as to do hot dogs instead of hamburgers. So
Yeah, it's
I'll look into it. I'll get back to you.
Same sort of deal over here, blended with FX and FX in America. They show different.
Yeah, because I thought if Wendy's in Australia was a different sort of company, I didn't think they'd be allowed to have the same name.
Interesting.
I wonder, would the copyright be universal?
It's probably not
Yeah.
like national.
Maybe they
Or
got
you can
special-
special-
You know what? The other thing is if we don't know about it and have never sued for copyright infringement, then they're fine.
All right.
I have
any-
a question.
Go ahead, Jacob.
Well, when we ate at Moe's, my dad checked his credit card. It didn't say Moe's in its place. It said, "Who's your daddy?"
Really?
It said, "Who's your daddy?" in place of Moe's. I'm wondering why in the heck would it say that, not Moe's Grill?
Oh, and what is Moe's, by the way, Jacob?
It wasn't one of ours. It might have been the name of the group that runs that Moe's because, like Wendy's, they're owned. A lot of them are owned by franchisee groups.
Interesting. What is Moe's, Debbie? What is Moe's?
It's just
Moe's
like
is a Mexican concept.
Okay, Mexican food, is it?
Right. Yes.
Okay, interesting. All right. Brian, any questions?
Can I just go back a
Yeah, go
second?
ahead.
The interesting thing about that comment was that I have a dog named Who's Your Daddy?
Cool, good stuff. Good. Okay. Brian, any questions?
No questions, but I guess actually I do for Debbie. Debbie,
Yeah.
are you familiar with Nick Burns from Saturday Night Live?
No, I'm
Nick
afraid
Bur-
I didn't stay up that
Oh
late.
man, this is from the Nick Burns skit. It talks about every IT person in every company that has to go around fixing everyone's computers when they screw them up and stuff. And he basically walks. So you guys will love this. You got to watch it. It's the Nick Burns skit. He was on Saturday Night Live for years. The character, and he walks up to everyone. He asks them a couple of questions, and then being the IT techie person, they don't know anything. So he gets frustrated with them by the third question, and he just says, "Move," and he tells them to get up from their chair, and then he does it. And it's just him walking around to different desks of like celebrities, and she says, "Oh no, I know about computers. I have AOL," and he's like, "Move." If you're a tech person, you'll love it. It's great.
That's funny.
He gets so frustrated with people like me.
My stock answer is, have you rebooted?
Yeah.
Did you plug
Hold
it
down
in?
the control function key. What's the control key? Move.
Is it plugged in?
Yeah,
I can't
is
find
it
the
plugged in?
key.
What's the
If you're in any kind of IT or tech support, you have to watch Nick Burns skits on Saturday Night Live. They're the best.
We will do that.
Yeah, I've seen some.
It's like that show.
Now
the
I've really
IT
contributed
crowd.
to this podcast, haven't I?
What's that?
You have.
Brad, it's like that show, The IT Crowd, where he just tells them to reboot it all the time.
Oh yeah. It's a funny show. The show. Okay, then Debbie. So, what else you want to mention before we go? What else do you do for fun? Any? What's your favorite tech gadget you like to use?
My favorite tech gadget? Probably my iPhone.
Okay, cool. What sort of
Love
apps do
my
you use in your iPhone? What sort of apps do you use?
What?
What apps?
What apps do you have?
Yeah.
I Skype on it.
She wazes.
Yeah, I Waze.
She's serious a lot.
Series?
I use Siri a lot, but when I'm asking directions, I get really frustrated because she just doesn't understand me. But because of that, I did find out that if you have an address in your contents and you click on it, you can get the directions instead of asking Siri.
All right. Okay. So is that it, Debbie? You were mentioning it before we go?
What was that?
Do you have anything else you want to say before we go?
No, I think that's enough for my first time.
All right. I hope you come back on soon, Debbie. Thanks for being on.
Thanks. I enjoyed it.
No problem. Are you on Twitter?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Jody needs to sign you up. As Andrew said the other day on Twitter, he needs to be on. He needs to be on Twitter more.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yep.
Did you say that, Belinda?
Yeah, I need to be on Facebook more. I'm like the opposite way.
Oh, I'm on Facebook.
I'm
all
more
the time.
on Twitter. I'm always on Twitter, but less on Facebook.
I'm on both. I'm on more at the same time.
But I've got it linked, so if you put something on Facebook, it'll go to Twitter and vice versa.
How do you do that?
I think it's in the settings somewhere.
Oh, okay. Interesting. All right, Steve, what about you? What's your final view of the show, mate? Are you looking forward to Monday? Let's give you a quick
always
roundup.
New things with the Worldwide Developers Conference. I like today's show. It was very interesting from both of our guests. And you can find me on Twitter as Chatterbox_live.
Good stuff, Steve. Good to have you on. See you next week.
Okay.
Get me on Twitter at Brad Oz on Techwebcast. Belinda, what about you?
Yeah, it was a fantastic show, and you can get me at BDemi on Twitter.
All right, what about you, Jacob?
You can follow me at JazzBot32669-1Z.
All right, and
This was always a good show.
What's that?
I said this is always a good show.
Of course it is, mate. Well, last week was a good show. I mentioned last week, Jacob, just real quick to Jody and Jennifer. Vincent was on.
Yes, he was.
Well, do you want to tell?
I heard the episode. It was a good show. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, good. Yep. Good show. Good to have Vincent on.
Always a good time when Vin is on. He's a smart guy.
There's a way to ask good questions.
Yeah, he's very smart.
He's a smart cookie.
Always has a list of questions.
Yep.
Okay. All right, Jennifer, what about you? Where can they get hold of you?
People can find me at jruggiero on Twitter or jenniferruggiero.com and check out the podcast, getnerdywithit.com.
And the one with Paul Carey.
Yeah, it was one with Paul Carey, and then we had one with the Pod Clear guys last week. It went really well with Spencer Hanley. Yeah.
What's the good? What are they up to?
Well, they're about to they're going to an accelerator down in Chile, actually.
Oh, okay.
And they're leaving in June, so things are going well for them. Really well.
To Chile.
Yeah, they're doing an accelerator down there, startup accelerator down there for a few months.
Okay, and are they working on PodClear?
Mm-hmm, on PodClear, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good on them.
Yeah.
Jody and Debbie, what about you?
I think it was a phenomenal show, and I'm so excited about QuickHound. I'm glad that Debbie was able to swing by. I know you guys enjoyed the excellent adventures that we did.
Yeah, definitely.
We're still like living it down. I recently had to go to Virginia last week with Bertha and left pieces of her somewhere on 295.
I wasn't there to be.
Oh, I've done that before.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. It's always an adventure. But yeah, great show. Brian, thank you so much for coming on. Deb, thank you for being here.
I had a good time.
Yeah. And you can catch up with me. The website is webmarcom.net. Find me on Twitter as Sunswept and all the usual places as Jody Rains. And also check out quickhound.com.
Will do. Check out that website. And Brian, I'm not sure if I asked you or not. Where can they get hold of you, mate?
Productivitygiant.com is my kind of home base for my entrepreneurial ventures. That's usually the quickest way to contact me, productivitygiant.com.
All right, good stuff, mate. Good to have you on and appreciate your time.
I appreciate you guys having me.
No problem, mate. Come back any time. And also thank you to Debbie for being on. It was very cool to talk to you.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
We've been wanting to speak to you for a long time. All right, thanks, guys, for being on. See you next week.
Techwebcast. The hosts and guests are unsurpassed. Techwebcast. 'Cause technology, it moves so fast. Techwebcast. Ha! Stick around and you're gonna have a blast. Yeah! Techwebcast. Ha! Ha! Techwebcast. Big ups to Andrew, to Brad, Jody, Steve, and Jennifer.